they could look at the stars and travel around the world, navigating by the stars. So what I'm saying is that you need to understand that the stars also influence you in your life. Most people have no concept of this, and this is why America's in trouble. We have a nation filled with people who are called Christians who do not understand anything about Christianity, the church, or where anything comes from. Think about the logic of what I'm going to tell you. That this is a country that is primarily in the hands of Christian people who pray to God every day for protection and to protect their family and for a good life and for peace and hope, etc. And the more Christians pray, the worse the world gets. The more violence, the more bloodshed, the more heinous acts of treason, and it's building and building and building. And the more we pray, the worse it gets. Logic alone should tell you you're doing something wrong. If it's not working, it's because we have offended that divine presence in the universe who put those 12 zodiological symbols in the heaven. And in the book of Job 38, 31, and 32, 33, look it up, Job 38, 31, 32, and 33, where God says to Job, "Where were you when I created the blessed Pleiades? When I created Orion, the belt of Orion? Where were you when I created Mazzaroth?" Look up the word Mazzaroth. It will tell you. It's a Phoenician Canaanite word called Hebrew. It's a Hebrew Phoenician Canaanite word. Mazzaroth means zodiac. The Bible has God saying to Job, "Where were you when I created the zodiac? I put my signs in the heavens and you don't look." Many will look with their eyes, but you don't see. You're listening with your ears, but you're not hearing. And with the heart, you're not getting a sense of it. And so consequently, since we are offending the divine presence in the universe by calling down evil upon something that God has created, the divine presence in the universe is very fearful. It doesn't care if you're right or what you think or how you believe. Either you're right or you're wrong. And consequently, when we begin to understand that we have been led into condemning something that God has created, we are in serious trouble in this country because we don't have leaders. We have misleaders. We have people who make tons of money on Christian television with their little homosexual hairdos and their diamond rings and all of their wristwatches, dancing around singing praises to the Lord, and never realize the very word Lord, L-O-R-D, comes from L-A-R-D, Lord. And why is L-A-R-D, Lord? Is grease. Grease is oil. Oil is Christos. And in the Greek language, Christos is where Pillsbury gets a cooking oil called Crisco. Crisco is Christo, and Christo is Christ. Oil, when it congeals, is called Lord, L-A-R-D. Wake up and get a life. This is an incredible world of deception, lies, misrepresentations. And as far as I'm concerned, until such time as we are able to, for the first time, actually understand what the Bible is telling us and where we're going, why do you think they have something in the Bible called the book of Revelation? Revelation is nothing more than the zodiac. I could go on for hours showing you. I was not able to bring a projector here so that I could show you the scriptures, the symbols, and the emblems. But remember that the entire New Testament is a metaphor, an astrological metaphor for the outworking of God's plan on the earth. And we, as Christians and Jews, have been taught that this is something evil. Why? Why does the church say that astrology is evil? Obviously, because they don't want you to know what they know. They're not stupid. They have been guided by the astrological symbols in the churches for 1,000 years. Why do you think Jesus fed his followers with 2 fish? The 2 fish are Pisces. Why do you think the Pope wears the mitre? It's the symbol of the fish. The 2 fish are the 2 fish of Pisces. Let me go back and explain this to you. On the first day of summer, as I said, all of the religious teachings in our Western world come from the Northern Hemisphere, all right? If you go to the very first day of summer, directly overhead in our Northern Hemisphere, the first day of summer is the constellation that begins summer is called Leo. So consequently, the sun is called the Lion King. Disney makes movies about the Lion King, and Christians go to see the movie The Lion King and haven't got the faintest idea in the world what they're looking at. Disney also is many things, but stupid is not one of them. So the Lion King is the sun in the constellation of Leo, the lion of the tribe of Judah. But consequently, 3 months later, he enters into something called autumn, or the fall. Why? Because he was standing straight, and now he's falling. So the first day of fall, he is halfway on his way to the southern hemisphere. Now understand, each day from the first day of summer, the Lion King, it moves 1 degree southward every day, 1 small degree southward every day, until it hits the 3 months, the 90 days, it hits the 90th degree. It is now passing over the equator, and it's heading south. 3 months later, 90 degrees more, and it finally ends up in the lowest part of the southern sky. For 3 days, once it reaches the lowest part, it's called the winter solstice. That's on December 22nd. The sun going southward reaches the lowest point in the southern sky on December 22nd. And the next day, December 23rd, it rises on that same degree. The following day on the 24th, rises on the same degree. So it hasn't gone any further south, and it hasn't started back north either. So for 3 days, the sun is dead in his tomb. On December 25th, each year, the sun moves 1 degree northward, which means it's now moving again. So therefore, it is born again. And we now are able to celebrate God's Son's birthday on December 25th. It is born again. Why? It is now beginning its annual journey back to the northern hemisphere. And as it gets to that halfway point again, and this is important, as it gets to that halfway point again, we call it spring. Because he was dead in winter. He was a Lion King in summer. He's now fallen. Now he's completely dead in winter. Everything's dead in winter in the northern hemisphere. Now he's coming back, so he's springing back to life. And in the first week of spring, he crosses over the equator again, coming back to the northern hemisphere. So in the ancient world, they celebrated the first week of spring. And when in the ancient world, when you died,